Today is the 14th of April. It is 16:30. I want to address something about President Trump, which is nothing new. I've talked about him in several videos, and to be quite honest with you, as far as presidents go, they can come and go, and I don't pay too much attention to them. I really don't. I really never did, for the most part. But there's something that needs to be said about this man. You know, I look at social media and I watch all kinds of commentary on the news, and I read all sorts of news media outlets, and there is a bias against this man. There's no doubt about it. But this is what I wanted to address about him. You know, there are people that run around saying that he's corrupt. I mean, there are people that think he's so corrupt they lose sleep over it. So if you think Trump is corrupt, why can't Congress get him out easily? I want somebody that hates this man so terribly bad to answer this question. Honestly, why can't a democratically controlled Congress get him out easily? If he is so blatantly corrupt, it shouldn't be a problem. It should be easy to find. Look, when they got rid of Nixon, they didn't have to go to court. Nixon eventually resigned because Nixon realized he got his hands caught in the cookie jar, and they were going to crucify him, and he knew it. He decided to resign and fade into the annals of presidential history doing it. The thing that I like about Donald Trump more than anything else is this guy fights. I mean, he fights. And if you don't understand the appeal of that, you have never been wrongly accused of something. I've mentioned this before. If the world comes against you and it's all false, you fight. Think for a moment of somebody that you might know that was falsely accused of something terrible. I'm going to give you an example of this. I think everybody can agree with this. The accusation of inappropriate behavior with a child is enough to destroy a person's life. The accusation alone is enough to destroy your life. Now, I personally know somebody that was accused of killing his 3-4-year-old daughter and dumping her body into a creek. I personally know somebody that this happened to. And after the police took him into custody, he actually confessed to it. Well, I didn't believe it, neither did his family, neither did his wife or anybody else in the family. And it turned out that it was kind of politically motivated with the DA. What they high-profile cases usually demand people do something about it. The people demand they do something about it. And technically speaking, usually when a child is murdered like this, it's usually somebody that knew. It's usually the parents. I mean, typically and statistically, that is true. And in the end, it turned out he didn't do it. And it turned out true. What happened was they eventually caught the guy who ended up, they got DNA off the girl's body, and he was exonerated. And he brought a lawsuit against the state and the county, and he won a huge, huge settlement. But it took a toll on his family. He ended up divorced and a whole bunch of other things. Now, why do I use this as an example of being falsely accused? Because when we all hear stories like that, we always say, well, why didn't you fight? Why would you admit to something like that? Well, when police want to, when they want a confession, they have ways of making you confess. And one of them is sleep deprivation. And I guess if you've never been in this situation where you've had that happen to you, it's kind of hard to make that judgment call. It really is. But it shouldn't make you mad as hell. So if I was the president and I had to deal with the press every day to talk smack about me, misreported things, misquoted things, editorialize everything instead of just reporting on the facts like they used to, I would be spitting vinegar. I don't blame this man. And you know what? This is what I like about him. This is why I would vote for him over and over again. Because he doesn't lie down and take the bullshit. That spit shine politician bullshit that we've all been exposed to our entire lives is gone with this man. Now, why do I say this about Donald Trump? Well, Donald Trump is... I could tell that he has studied a couple people in history. Most people probably. I'm not going to name one of them, but I'm going to name one of them. One person, P.T. Barnum. P.T. Barnum's famous for sideshow attractions at P.T. Barnum Bailey Circus. And Barnum, in his day, was the master showman and world famous back in the day. And this was in the mid 1800s. It was right after the time of Lincoln, I believe, and right after the Civil War. It could have been prior, but I think it was after. I mean, he coined a lot of phrases. The word jumbo comes from P.T. Barnum. Barnum said there's a sucker born every minute, but also one thing I like that he said is there is no such thing as bad publicity. And damn it, that guy is right. And Donald Trump is taking several pages out of P.T. Barnum's playbook. And the media can't figure it out. He knows how to play the media because he has learned to use negative publicity for his own gain. There's no such thing as bad publicity. And what he does with it, he turns it around. And the people that like him, look, if you don't like that fighting spirit, man, I like it. I like it when somebody's like that. And not, you could say he's mean, you could say he's rude. What it comes down to is he don't give a shit. Damn it, you need somebody like that in a leadership position. I found Obama to be just pathetically weak. He was pathetically weak. Went around on an apology tour for the rest of the world, bowing in front of imams, and he's a Muslim sympathizer. He pretended to be a Christian so he could get elected by the black community. I mean, come on, folks. Donald Trump doesn't play games. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, I watched, it wasn't a press conference, and he is showboating. There's no question about it. He's not an entertainer, he's a self-promoter like P.T. Barnum. He knows how to self-promote. And he's done things that I don't remember any living president doing. And one of the things I like is he has what I would call a round table discussion. He brings people in, he puts them in the White House, gets around the table with them, and starts showing his humanity. His sense of humor, which some people may not like or some people like. But if you study people and you listen to him, it's him trying, he's being genuine. If he's not, he's doing a damn good acting job of it. But you can pick up little things if you study people long enough. It's not hard to see that Trump is a germaphobe. It's easy to see that. But what got me thinking about this today is he has several people today in the White House, live coverage with him, with about 6 other people who were survivors of the virus. And to be honest with you, I found it very informative and very interesting because each person had a different story, different symptoms, different walks of life. And honestly, and the one person I found more interesting was an elected official from Detroit, black woman and her husband, who was suffering from the long-term effects of Lyme disease, gets the virus, can't get into a hospital in Detroit. She thinks she's going to die, shortness of breath. She believes she was going to die. And because the president and his team were promoting this drug use for malaria, she got this drug in a relatively quick period of time from her doctor, and it fixed her up. Now she's probably going to get beat to hell for the praise that she was giving the president. And I don't believe this is coerced. I don't believe her husband was coerced. This is a black woman and her husband giving the president credit where it's due and thanking him. And you know what? I don't know where she was on the spectrum. She's a Democrat. I don't know where she was on the spectrum before this happened. She might have been right on the Democrat ship saying, I don't like him, he's this, he's that, and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Because of him, I can tell you she's probably changed her opinion about who he is and what he has done. And she goes on to say that she lost family members. One family, a family of 7. Several people in the family died from this. And I think she's a Congress person. I think she's somebody in Congress. And oddly enough, if you really think about it, she probably voted to impeach him because it was pretty much unanimous with the Democrats impeaching him. I don't think she probably looks at him that way anymore. So look, it's really simple. Give the man the credit that credit's due. Honor those where honor is due. I don't have a problem honoring anybody, even people I can't stand, where the honor is due. The workman is worth his wages. Trump is a showman. He is part P.T. Barnum. There's no question about it. He knows how to self-promote, and that's what gets him elected. Now, in the coming months, because he probably can't have rallies, and he's going to be criticized if he has rallies again. Democrats are going to come after him, try to make him look bad. But what has happened here, he might have solidified his leadership skills, and I don't care what anybody says. I think this guy has really done some incredible leadership skills in the midst of this viral thing. And look, I am kind of a conspiracy guy. I do believe that China deliberately or by accident, I think the timing is suspicious, brought this upon the world specifically to ruin the Trump presidency, thinking this might ruin his presidency, because it all of a sudden kind of happens right after the impeachment goes south. So there's a part of me to believe the Chinese, China does not want Trump as president. He's a hardliner when it comes to their economic shenanigans. They don't want this guy in there. They don't want him in there for another 4 years. And the reason I think they want him out because Trump made, I want to tell you what he did. He threatened them and says, you know what, if I get elected 4 more years, I'm going to make it even harder on you to do business in this country. They didn't like hearing that. So they figured, geez, he is going to get reelected another 4 years. We better make a trade deal with this guy just in case he does. But in case he doesn't, why don't we just kind of help the process along, because the American people are stupid. That's just how I think. That's how I believe. But as a 55-year-old man, I don't want to get this virus. I do not want to. You know what? I don't want to get the flu. But for the first time in my life, I'm thinking, I get this. This thing might knock me out. There are healthier people than me that got it, that end up in the hospital, struggling to breathe. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to be a fish pulled out of water where you go. I'm a really active person, particularly this time of year. It's my favorite time of year. If I get sidelined, one pissed off SOB. I don't want to get this virus. Trump deserves the credit where the credit's due. And I got to tell you, I like the man. And maybe it's because he knows how to showboat and self-promote himself. I wish I was that good at doing that for myself. And maybe I'm totally brainwashed. And I drank the Trump Kool-Aid. Because I'm going to be completely honest, the only reason I voted for him in the first place, because I knew he would make those weak-minded, pathetic, snowflake people lose their minds. And to me, seeing that collective, that pink pussy hat march right after he gets elected was so gratifying to me, to see a collective meltdown of minds that can't deal with adversity and disappointment. Nobody likes adversity. Nobody wants to be disappointed. But you know what? Life in itself can be nothing but a disappointment. And life is adversity. But you struggle through it and you move through it. And I have a lot of admiration for a man that says, I don't give a damn what you say about me, and I'm going to fight my ass back. I don't care what it says about me and what it does to me politically. I want to see somebody fight back. Let's see that you got a set of balls and don't take bullshit from somebody else, particularly when they're trying to railroad you into falsehoods and lies. And I will never, ever vote for a Democrat as long as I live. And, I didn't grow and come up that way. My family grew up as independents. But I see them for what they are. And, all you have to do is look at Nadler, Schiff, Pelosi, Schumer. If that's, and then you got AOC and her little group. That's all I need to see. I will never vote for it. And I live in Illinois that's run by Democrats. And the state is broke, and every damn day there's some other stupid, inane policy they initiate that just drains your bank account. So, yeah. So you can say what you want about him, but I don't believe the man is corrupt, because if he was corrupt, if he really was corrupt, they would have been able to get him out of office a lot sooner. It wouldn't have been hard to do, but they can't do it. That's because if you got to make up shit to get rid of somebody, you got a weak-ass case. And that's the end of it all.